Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. SharpEdge News TV, good to see you again. The 2026 APC primaries on the way. A referendum on party unity as the internal battles kick off. President Tinubu issues a stern warning against do or die politics. And it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. So the battle lines inside the ruling party are officially drawn today. The All Progressive Congress has commenced nationwide legislative primary elections, starting with the House of Representatives and senatorial tickets ahead of the presidential primary on May 25. President Tinubu issued a direct personal appeal to all parties faithful, urging them to embrace sportsmanship and use consensus wherever possible to avoid bad blood and internal fracturing. Already, the drama has begun as the party released its initial list of disqualified senatorial aspirants. Meanwhile, in Kogi East, Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo was spotted casting his votes in a highly competitive contest that features names like former Governor Yaya Bello. The primaries are the ultimate test for the APC's internal democracy under the new 2026 Electoral Act. Will this process unify the party for 2027, or are we about to witness an explosion of post-primary defection? Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. We have a fantastic show lined up for you today, and we will be right back. Welcome back, sir. Good to see you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, High Chief Oladimeji Abitogun. So the question I have for you, sir, will this process unify the party for 2027? We're talking about APC, or are we about to witness an explosion of post-primary defections? The analysis is yours.
Thank you, Ola. Good to be back. Like I said, if anybody is thinking that this would further solidify the unity within the ruling party in Nigeria, APC, I would suggest that such a person should have a rethink. On the contrary, what I expect this moment to bring is the shattering of the hitherto grave of the, piece of the graveyard that had subsisted within the party for some time. And remember, on this platform, we did say that the party stood the possibility of a kind of implosion. And that is what we are witnessing at the moment. Yes, one would have expected that the so-called direct primary would really go for an all-party situation, such the type that obtains in Alaska and the United States here, that makes it so difficult for any body to have a stranglehold on a political party or political caucus. Remember, before now, apart from Alaska and the United States, the state of Louisiana also used to enjoy all-party primary. But because the immediate former governor of that state in the U.S. changed the rule, and then it became an all-Republican affair, Donald Trump has been able to use that to scuttle whatever opposition could have could have risen against him within the Republican Party. And so when Nigeria voted for direct primary, one was thinking it should be an all-party affair, such that not just, since it's a situation in which all Nigerians really want to know who would be their standard bearer in any of the political organizations, that people who vote will come across party lines and make an innovation and make it an all-comers affair, such that the result will be representative of various interests and opinions or shades of views across any state, constituency, ward, or across the federation. So, what is playing out in real time in Nigeria is a situation in which common folks within political parties are trying to own the democratic project within the Nigerian space, and so far is rocking the boat. As at the last count this morning, about 46 members of the House of Representatives, some decampees and all kinds of interests, would not be coming back to the National Assembly unless they decamp to another political organization. However, you will remember that the new electoral law, the amendment, the 2026 amendment to the electoral law, says that after a given date, which was sometime last week, that people cannot cross party divides or lines anymore. They should just stay where they are. And so the crafters of the relevant laws concerning this current Nigerian elections, they know what they were doing, because it's become an exercise that has really put to the fore the lack of a principle, lack of a core philosophy, lack of ideology, and people just genuflecting and crossing lines as they wish. Notwithstanding, today you find out that in a place like Bayelsa State, people have crossed from both APC and PDP into Nigerian Democratic Congress, NDC. And what this is going to put to test is us understanding that the grand norm, the law that would supersede in all this will be the Constitution. So maybe it's getting to that time that people will rush to the law courts again, talk of field day, not just for lawyers, journalists as well, on how to test out the ways, the manner in which the so-called Nigerian electoral law is at variance or in conflict or incongruous and incontiguous with the Nigerian Constitution. Because essentially what would apply here will be the provision of the Constitution that says there is freedom of association, you can go wherever, movement and what have you. And now there is another law, a footnote to that Constitution by way of Act of Parliament, Act of the National Assembly, saying, no, you stay where you are. After a given date, you cannot cross. But since people are not being given the opportunity of expressing themselves out, they would, or as they have accused the ruling party of manipulating the list during the election, in places like Kogi, it was even alleged that primary elections did not take place in some wards and precincts, yet lists were prepared, votes were declared. You also saw a lady that was doing a counting somewhere who jumped from maybe 99 and then started mentioning 130 something and so on and so forth. So all these semblance of inconsistency within the system, all kinds of systemic failures within the system will be put to test as the days go by. Now, you were mentioning the fact of former Governor Yaya Bello of Kogi State showing up on the ballot somewhere during the primary, and then the governor of the state, Adodo. Kogi State is one place that has really attracted much attention, if not criticisms, in the wake of this APC primary. And sadly enough, a man who is still answering to allegations of fraud and corruption, like former governor Yaya Bello, being on the ballot, puts a big question mark on on Nigerian democratic principle. As a matter of fact, yes, it's not been proven guilty. His innocence holds sway because it's not been found guilty in any court of law. However, as a matter of decency and sense of shame, I think he should have recused himself from the process for now. And in the same Kogi state, like I've mentioned earlier on, people continue to allege all kinds of fraud. Officials not showing up yet, writing figures and claiming that they are victorious. And yet the world is watching. And if Nigeria really wants to be taken as a country that really has plans to make democracy work, honestly, Nigeria can do better. And it does not even get better in places like Bayelsa, not better in places like Ekiti State. The only thing that has scaled through so smoothly in Ekiti State is the consensus choice of somebody like our good friend, Senator Opeyemi, Michael Opeyemi Badidele. But elsewhere, allegations are flying right, left, and center. And then look at Lagos, Ogun State. Former Governor Benga Daniel came on live television last week and was alleging all sorts of things against the sitting governor Dapo of that state in Ogun State concerning the Ogun East senatorial contest. At the end of the day, he challenged Governor Dapo to a live television debate. But earlier today, he was spotted at the villa holding a meeting with President Tinubu, and unconfirmed reports are indicating that he has even dropped out of the race. Yet he revved up all kinds of emotions, all kinds of allegations against Governor Dapo of Ogun State. Some of those allegations, by the way, when we shared, making it to look as if the tenure of Governor Dapo of Ogun State is the worst Ogun State has ever witnessed. Our checks in Ogun State show that under the very nose of OGD, that is Benga Daniel as governor, issues of courtism, bloody clashes were encouraged directly by him. The unexplained disappearance and the killing of very respected citizens of the state like Dino, and so many other things unexplained. So sometimes politicians have perfected a way of just crying wolf, where something like that shouldn't have existed in the first place. When they lose, they say all kinds. When they win, they appear to be the best. But because time heals so much, but not all wounds, only the time can heal so much. That's why Benga Daniel can come on live television and try to play on the intelligence of Nigerians to make it look like, he ran a robust administration while he was the governor of Ogun State in his time. All said and done, everybody should continue to watch, whether in Rivers, where trouble is always intractable concerning the processes of electioneering, and all over the place, Imo State, other Governor Hope Uzodinma, and everywhere. The whole thing is attracting so much hoopla and olabalu at the moment. But if the citizens are really standing their ground that, this democracy must be a popular one, something that must have the endorsement of the people, then we'll continue to enjoy whatever the day, the days ahead will bring in terms of prospect and possible success of democracy in Nigeria. And finally, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu must really be having a swell time because they're trying to evolve a one-party system that has not really helped. So everybody saying he was copying. Everybody was saying he was copying a script from the late General Sani Abacha. I wanted to be the sole candidate for all 5 political parties that existed under him up till 1998, until fate struck. Probably, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in spite of what he claimed in Kigali and Kenya, that, if he does not act well, Nigerian youth will vote him out, there is nothing that appears on the radar that would indicate that, other than diplomatic game or diplomatic game plan. There's nothing on the radar that suggests that President Bola Tinubu actually expects to respect the decision of the vast majority of Nigerians, not just the youth, but ultimately the world is watching, and we hope that this exercise will really prove something about Nigeria. That Nigeria is really ready for business when it comes to democracy. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Please go ahead and hit the like button, share, subscribe, follow, turn up your notifications. Let us know what you think about the APC primaries. What happened? What did you see? Share your experiences and share your thoughts and your own point of view with these topics. We have some other trendy stories around the world, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. The elimination of Abu-Bilal al-Minuki in Borno. Wow. All right, so the global second in command of the Islamic State has been taken off the board. A joint tactical raid just decapitated the network in Metele. We moved to a massive breakthrough on the defense front that is shaking up the political security debate. Over the weekend, the Armed Forces of Nigeria executing a highly complex joint kinetic operation with U.S. Africa Command, AFRICOM, successfully targeted and eliminated Abu-Bilal al-Minuki in the Metele area of Borno State. Al-Minuki was the global second in command of the Islamic State and the head of their Global Financing Office. Defense headquarters confirmed that follow-up airstrikes on Sunday neutralized over 20 additional ISWAP militants who had converged in the sector. Many are saying this is a monumental tactical win for our troops on the ground, for an administration under continuous pressure over northern security. Does this massive hit on the ISIS command structure signal a permanent turning of the tide, or will the network quickly find a replacement? So that's the question, sir. And also, some people said, hey, which one is it? Did they resurrect and they killed him again? Because that name sounds similar to somebody that was eliminated sometimes in the past. I don't know if you've seen that anywhere, but the analysis is yours, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Ola. Let's first tackle the fact of who this al-Minuki, who he was or who he is. Sources claim that he was a struggling barber, somebody who gave a male haircut in the past in Borno State. And then all of a sudden, it was not considered, it's so laughable that all kinds of stupid stuff becomes all kinds of stupid stuff become scenes of attraction to Nigerian upplace youths at times. When they're talking of who becomes the Secretary General of United Nations, Nigerian youths don't get excited. When it comes to who becomes the Secretary General or leader of oil producing, petroleum exporting countries, OPEC, they don't think of Nigerian youths will not even be excited. But for goodness sake, ISIS, international terror network and financing. So a poor Baba on the street of Borno State suddenly became the second in command. And for people who have been saying that, there have been claims in the past that he was killed, they should understand the way these terrorists work. If the United States SEALs, naval SEALs, had not seized the body of Osama bin Laden after he was executed, if they had not buried him, or if they had not thrown his body in the sea where no memorial can be, where nothing can be erected to his memory, someone else too would have started claiming today to be Osama bin Laden. So in this case, there is the possibility, and there have been some intelligence estimates that yes, he probably was killed, but another person assumed his pseudonym, or assumed his name as a pseudonym. We would not know, because nothing appears certain anymore in the world that we live in. However, whether he was killed before and somebody assumed is a personnel or not, what is certain now is that the United States African Command, or AFRICOM, like we said, did a good job in partnership, in collaboration with the Nigerian military, to make sure that this guy will be of no consequential disturbance to the people of Borno State or the Shadian Lake Basin area anymore. Is gone, is gone. And like the Yorubas will say, may he die even after this dying, and die and die again. Now, honestly, it would appear that we casting bangles round the neck or ankle of Anabiku. Remember that poem from Nigeria, "In vain your bangles cast." Anabiku coming for the opposite time. Honestly, the issue of insurrection, terrorism around Nigeria is not just restricted to the Chadian Basin now. It's not something that is exclusive to Borno State. It's something you find all over Nigeria, even in Ondo State or your state, everywhere. Some of us cannot dare as much as we used to want to say that we want to go to Nigeria, to Ondo State. And I'm saying this because even in your own town, you do not know who is going to, and we have had such reports in the past that somebody had gone to snitch, had gone to inform that, somebody should be taken out. And please, when you take him, do not even expect that you will release him after ransom is paid. Knock him out, because if he survives the ordeal, it's going to come after you like the vengeance of God. It is that bad. And that standard applies everywhere. It is almost like crisis business. It's like merchandising crisis all over Nigeria, which is why it becomes so difficult for the government to really arrest the worsening situation all the time. Now, it's not just a problem for the government. The government too, through its proxies, whether armed forces or the police, what have you, they have done so much to cause distrust between them, between existing institutions, those who man those institutions, and civil society. What do I mean? A police organization that is always excited to unleash tear gas on students and populace can never be loved or be trusted by citizens. A military that has no excitement other than funning and using the citizens as a game, people that can be just flogged both into line as if Nigeria is still under military um, autocracy, is a system that should not expect the cooperation of its citizens. And then a government that misappropriates funds, that will take loans internationally and then not spend on things that are tangible, since citizens can relate with. How can such a government expect cooperation in defeating terrorism and what have you? Thank God for the efforts of the United States Military African Command in this situation, that used all kinds of technology and software to monitor, target, and then eliminate these people. It's been said somewhere that maybe fishermen from Taraba who went to Lake Chad Basin were killed they were recorded as collateral damage in the operation. We do not know. What we know is that why should anybody want to really pay ransom or pay all kinds of levies to questionable characters, to all these bandits and criminal elements, marauders, so to say, in order to heck out a living? Who goes to Lake Chad Basin to fish these days? And so when people now want to pin this on the Nigerian military or the technical partners, in this case, the United States African Command, you begin to ask questions. Why are Nigerians so... I do not know how to describe it. I don't want to use any demeaning words on Nigerian compatriots, but it disturbs me and beats me hollow to see that some Nigerian citizens would rather cooperate with all kinds of questionable characters instead of, in place of their peace. If everybody comes on the same page, make sure that organized efforts are deployed towards, once and for all, lessening, and then almost at some point completely eradicate terror, banditry, and religious bigotry in Nigeria. It will work for the good of everybody, but as it is, Nigerians love their criminals in different ways. If it's from their village, they want to offer protection. If that person is a corrupt government, they want to offer protection. That is why you see that people were condoning elements like this around the Chadian Basin, the Lake Chad Basin. That is why you see that cross-border people are excited to want to applaud all kinds of criminality. Until Nigerians begin to know that the violation of one person, one territory, and land area across the country is disturbance for the entire nation, we ain't going nowhere. And we must have that poise that we can defeat terrorism, we can defeat terrorists, and that we can always run away with that pride that we used to have. Everywhere Nigerian troops used to be celebrated. They did well in Ekumog. Everywhere. The Congo. What is wrong with that military today? They should firm up intelligence, not just human, even through technology, and make sure that the space becomes safe for everybody to live in.
Absolutely.
My take.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Join the conversation. Hit the like button, share, subscribe. Turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. We do have some other trendy stories around the world. We'll be right back. Welcome back. The Borno secondary school breach. Hours apart from the victory, a chilling reminder: gunmen target a secondary school in Borno as security forces scramble. Ouch. We'll conclude with a sobering reality check that highlights the complexity of the war on terror. Just hours after the successful operation against al-Minuki, suspected jihadist militants executed a daring security breach attacking a secondary school in Borno State. This incident occurred almost simultaneously with a rare school assault down south in Oyo State, where three suspects have already been detained, while the military is sustaining high-pressure strikes in the Lake Chad Basin. This targeted harassment of the educational institutions shows that insurgent remnants are still actively hunting for soft targets to generate fear. It's a classic asymmetric playbook. 1 minute the state claims victory, the next minute the insurgents strike a school. How does the government protect these vulnerable frontline communities while keeping the military focused on high-value targets? That's my question for you, sir, because this is crazy, we keep getting this kind of news coming out of different corners of Nigeria at this point.
Thank you, Ola. The simple solution to getting this done will be creating a synergy between technology and human intelligence. What do I mean? I was watching the special reports of some journalists that accompanied President Donald Trump to on that state visit to China last week. What they came with in terms of interesting reports from China was that every precinct, every inch of China was heavily secured through circuit cameras. So what is so big about whether I would not encourage a situation that Nigeria will record capital flight, but sit young startups down to put their brain to work. The different universities of technology, polytechnics, colleges of education, good high schools all over Nigeria. Let people now begin to work on developing those, good cameras that have high resolution, that can capture faces, movements, and anything suspicious, and begin to set limits within cities where a path through which nobody can travel or trek. And then no, because how do they take more than 40 students from that school, 26 kilometers from Ibadan or your state around Ogbomoso, and nobody could even trace where they were taken? How did they move? They talk of a stretch of forest from the north all the way down south and what have you. How do they ferry them across, whether bridges or the Niger River to wherever enclave the terrorists claim to establish space and governance? How is it so easy? Taking hundreds of pupils, hundreds of innocent civilians and citizens at the same time, and nothing is able to detect such disturbing movements. So it's almost become a norm. Nigerians are numb to this news. Before you know it now, this gets knocked off by developments around politics and economy. Maybe they are accusing the government of trying to take $1.6 billion loan that has discordance in terms of what's it called, GDP debt ratio and what have you. And nothing is even being spent in a substantial way, in a tangible way, on securing lives and properties all over the country. This is really sad. In the case of that Oyo State incident, The vice principal of the affected school was killed. It was fatal. The principal of the school, somebody's wife, was taken to the bush. She has recorded a message desperately begging for assistance so that she could be free. And you see so many young schoolgirls. A mother was crying about losing 5 children alone, and the wife, the wife of his son, his daughter, her daughter-in-law rather, amongst those that were taken away as captives. And then the one in Borno State, the military casualty there. Elsewhere, about 18 policemen were killed by this insurgent. It's everywhere. Somewhere in Ondo State, around Idwani, do you know that these terrorists, because people don't like putting ethnic gap, because we know they are local collaborators. Whether you're talking of worshippers being taken away from Celestial Church at Tusho, or you're talking of farmers being kidnapped or being killed at Ayede Ogbese, people coming boldly to Iluabo in the broad daylight to take away helpless, innocent citizens, or the chase after the Oluo of Okeoge, Oba Abiodun Ogunjebi at the time. All these things. Even look at the killing of Oba Kende Falodun, you know, the Oga of Agamo in Akure North local government. These things have elements of internal collaboration, internal subversion. And so at Idwani, these terrorists came out, Fulani element. And they were saying, oh, so you people are so daring, started choosing sporadically in all directions, saying Yoruba land is their conquered territory. Look at the possibility of that for ethnic conflict, inter-ethnic conflict. In this time and age, we will not waste too much. We won't waste words, and we would never really be ambiguous about the fact that this is when the government has to find a solution to delay and wait to the eve of election to now get so proactive so that people will say, they are now keeping insecurity at bay. Will be a huge disservice and ungodly thing to do. If the government can help the situation now, they should do something about it. The other day, everybody was clapping about the choice of Lieutenant General Christopher Musa as the new defense minister. Everything he had articulated, erecting walls to keep to secure Nigerian borders and all that, is now in office as Minister of Defense. Why are we not seeing any action on those propositions? How about the National Security Advisor? What is it doing? We even saw the other day the appointment of a new National Advisor on Homeland Security in Nigeria. So when you bring that on board, what is the work of the Interior Minister? Olubunmi Tunji Ojo. What is the work? Because we were thinking in the past that, the equivalent, because everything must sound American in order to appear workable in Nigeria. But it's almost like, the praise for one family in Nigeria. Somebody praying, may God make me to be like the owner of that house. What if God makes you to look like the owner of that house, and then you don't have the character of the owner of the house? Allah, you should be able to relate with that Oriki in Yoruba. Ọmọ òrìṣà òkè jẹ́ ńlá kí n dàbí onílé yìí. Tó bá là bí onílé yìí tó ní ìwà bí onílé yìí ńkọ́. Or as we say in Akure, kọ́ bá là bolúlé òun kò ẹ̀ là dèbí tẹ̀rẹ̀sì kan, kò ẹ̀ là dèbí olúlé òun sí kan. These things are issues that Nigerians must begin to think about. You want to hate everything American. Homeland Security. Yet you have Minister of Interior with paramilitary organizations under him. How effective is Nigerian, civil, what's it called now? Civil security, whatever. Security and civil defense these days. How effective are they? Thank God the incidence of breaking into prisons has reduced considerably, but it's not something that should not be expected. I hope somebody is imagining things. I hope somebody is activating some critical thinking. I hope somebody is really putting some brain to work, active intelligence, actionable intelligence being developed, and making sure that all the time schools, young girls cannot be the target. And what are they doing? Something that has bedeviled Africa for hundreds of years. Slavery. You kidnap school children, school girls, you take them to some what's it called? To some place where they have to, some people would have to start bidding for them. What a shame in this time and age. And all the excitement we have about the world is to latch on to connect in a manner that shows nothing other than bigotry. Ill-digested religious beliefs. Arabs come to Africa, they say this, we jump at it. Europeans come, we latch onto it. Americans come, we latch onto it. Never ever evolving our own character and responses to showing that we too are capable of doing things in our own way. It started gradually by all kinds of preachers barraging us with questionable doctrines and what have you. And today, somebody will say he's praising Allah, he's praising Jesus Christ, yet locked in their mind, twisted mind, is Talibanism, honor killing, all kinds of things. You kidnap people and then you take them to places where they will be auctioned off. Who does that? You treat your fellow compatriots as if they are mere commodities. Allah, this is really shameful. And I think the government of Nigeria is thinking. I listened to Governor Seyi Makinde. If he would first prove to the people of Oyo State that he can secure them, work hand in hand. Hey, look at the fact that the 2 mechanized division of the Nigerian army is based in Ibadan. Look at the fact that our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the commander-in-chief. And all this is happening under their watch, and they're discussing politics. If, and somebody must listen carefully, if the elections can be put on hold for 2027 first, and then we guarantee security and safety, we come back to the business of proper electioneering, we will be doing the country a great service. But for us to continue to pawn away our citizens and allow all kinds of evil people plunder the land, kill people and shed blood of innocent citizens will be a huge disservice. And that is not in any way a suggestion that anybody should want to tinker with constitutional provision on making democracy work. All I'm just saying is that it is time that we embraced proper governance instead of politics all the time. Let us do less of politics and more of securing lives and properties. After all, governments exist for a sole purpose: guaranteeing safety, survival, and continuity for humanity. Thank you very much. Lola?
Thank you so much, sir. I'm back. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button, share, subscribe. Let's know your thoughts about this. This one is a very, very sad situation. We have people actually actively on social media. People are crying about this fresh Oyo State news, particularly the one you just mentioned, where they killed the principal. and it's a lot going on. I'm not sure. You just suggested that maybe they should put everything, election and all those kind of stuff on hold. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into the final segment so we can actually talk about a lot of this at length. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. Please go ahead and hit the like button right now, and we will be right back. So the APC is conducting their so-called peaceful primaries in Kogi and Abuja, and the what they call it, the military is dropping bombs on global terrorist leaders in Mentele, but on the other hand, our children in Borno and Oyo are still facing security breaches, with our audience dominated by people of all types of ages who deeply value safety and structure. How do we balance the political hype of, again, so-called successful primary, as they call it, with the grassroots reality of a lingering security crisis? And what do you do, right? What do we do? What do we have, right? That as Nigerians that we can put to work. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your time of the show again, Sharp Edge Nation. Let's welcome back our publisher, editor-in-chief, and High Chief Oladimeji Abitogun for our dialogue. It's a struggle. I'm sure you have a special for us. Yeah, what do you have for us? This is.
Thank you very much, Ola. Like I said, always a pleasure to be back. And number one, everybody has been wondering, President Donald Trump went to China. What did he bring back? And then President Bola Ahmed Tinubu went to France, Kenya, Rwanda. What did they bring back too? And even in the middle of that, you're having an outbreak of Ebola, a strange strain of it that nobody has a vaccine for yet. And it has moved from DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, into some areas in Uganda, and everybody is even suggesting that, some of the individuals who traveled with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to Rwanda and President Tinubu himself should be screened. Well, the good news is that my interactions with epidemiologists in Nigeria in the recent past, in recent times, shows that Nigeria is well grounded when it comes to contact tracing and then tackling it head on as soon as they sense it. There have been heroes who laid their lives down in Nigeria fighting Ebola. And so we hope that so far, because it's been said that more than 100 people, as at the last count today, have lost their lives. And then asking about what President Donald Trump brought back from China, yes, he said he had a good interaction with the president of China, and said things will work out between them. But people said, other than it's difficult to trust whatever comes from President Donald Trump himself, because he has a way of saying it the way it really did not happen there. But he's the president that we've got in the United States of America now. Let us give him the benefit of the doubt. But since coming back, in spite of everything he claimed he gained, we find out that oil prices are surged because he's threatening actions against Iran now. So, and that is reflecting in the prices of commodities and groceries in the United States, and average pump price. Now, in New York, around you there, today, around New York, New Jersey, where you are, you can see the shutdown action by railway workers between Long Island and mainland New York, Manhattan, and what have you on the need for pay raise for rail workers. We hope that will be addressed quickly so that more than 200,000 commuters, about 250,000 commuters who use that, who commute between Long Island and mainland New York every day would be able to keep going. And then concerning other things trending around Nigeria, you have heard that Nigeria is planning to take a loan, and then how Nigerians got proactive, decided to bombard IMF and World Bank portals, saying Nigeria should not be given any more loan. We do not know what Nigerian citizens are thinking of, but really, when you look at the fact that there is no tangible spending on public education, public health, and other institutions, like 75% of Nigeria budgetary allocation said to have been cornered by just one company, iTech, belonging to the Shagori brothers, in terms of capital projects and struggling economy, and suspicion, like we reported last week, that the Progressive Governors Forum frittered away more than 800 billion naira for questionable purpose of being used as war chest for the sitting government of Nigeria for re-election, and how that is being swept under the carpet and then giving questionable solidarity to themselves. That is among us. It's impeachable. But who is going to ask the question in a country where the National Assembly is rubber stamp? So, in America here, that shocking discovery, because this culture of impunity and corruption is pervasive everywhere. It's something that has descended all over so many crimes and cultures. In America here, it's been discovered that a questionable exchange running to $10 billion or more is being proposed as settlement for people who took part in the January 6th insurrection that would have made President Donald Trump to sit in disregard of the laws of the land when he lost the election against Joe Biden. And that is something that is being traded for his lawsuit against IRS for leaking his tax papers. Sounds like something that shouldn't be happening in a so-called developed nation. But that is what you get. That is the time we live in. And then in the state of Louisiana, as if the scandal about IRS deal is not enough, or putting padding up proposition for the building of some ballroom in the White House with $1 billion, as if that is not enough scandal. In Louisiana, a senator, Bill, you remember his last name? Cassidy, or something. Cassidy.
Bill Cassidy.
Cassidy.
Yeah.
Who joined in voting against Donald Trump to hold him accountable concerning January 6th insurrection. Lost he was primaried. He lost the primary election process in Louisiana this weekend. And Donald Trump went on his social media handle that is the punishment he got for joining in attacking him. But that is not a victory for Donald Trump, really, but he's owning it, saying that, that is what you get when you come against the leader of the party.
I told you so.
Yeah, I told you. But really, it's not what happened. What happened there was that the former governor of that state changed the rule where it should have been, and all parties are fair to go and vote in the primary. If independents and Democrats had been allowed to vote in that primary like they used to, the guy would have been back in office, and Donald Trump would not be thumping his chest now. But the critical mass would still speak when
Yeah.
it becomes an all-nation affair. There must be other things on our plate
Yeah.
before we go.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that politics anywhere in the world is a very complex process, and this is especially true even in the West, even in developed world, because after you play all that game, you have to make sure you don't go to jail after you leave office.
That's the name of the game. In order not to go to jail, you saw what you see the you see the way yes Wike has been gaming the people of Rivers State for years now in order to avoid going to prison. Because if he had supported Atiku Abubakar to become the president of Nigeria in 2023, Wike would have gone to prison.
Yeah.
And today, only God knows what will be the fate of Governor Simlai Fubara. Look at the number of his supporters that were voted down yesterday, manipulated out. It wasn't free and fair from the way they have been shouting. But the good thing about this Louisiana state lawmaker, this member of House of Reps from Louisiana, is that when it happened, he said you don't have to contest every result. Was magnanimous, sportsmanlike. In Nigeria, you don't usually have that. And in a place like India, you see, the sugar bar mentality of deporting a citizen from a country that happened in Nigeria's Second Republic. Sugar bar was to be deported to Labour Federal Republic in Nigeria, saying it wasn't maybe it was not Nigerian enough or it wasn't a Nigerian. It's happening across the border in India as I'm talking to you. The entire 2,500-kilometer divide between Bangladesh and India. People from across that border who have lived together as one are now being deported back to Bangladesh, and all kinds of questionable things happening there. A man has committed suicide just because after he did everything to prove his status as an Indian citizen, they still find something to want to shut him out and separate him from his wife. Sounds like Nigeria.
Yeah.
Sounds like anywhere third world. So whatever you're going through there, geopolitics is similar everywhere. So Ola, hit me this final one. This thing that Elon Musk and the other IT people took to court and that was thrown out in terms of registering a non-for-profit on AI that has now become a profit-making thing, and asking for how is that affecting the industry, IT industry?
I just glanced over it very quickly, and OpenAI apparently started off as supposed to be a charity project, but they had since abandoned that part of it because OpenAI became the most popular chatbot. Everybody's using ChatGPT. OpenAI created ChatGPT, and Elon Musk is suing them for abandoning that part of the project. So it just got thrown out, it just got rejected on technicalities. But again, when you get to that level when you get to that level of interactions between organizations, institutions, and entities, things get very muddy very quickly because there's too many variables. Similar to politics, similar to big businesses, it gets very muddy, and oftentimes you'll find out if you dig deeper, it's personal agendas, well, when I say personal, keep me in context, right? It's basically hidden agendas, propaganda, if you will, that's behind a lot of those things. But it just got thrown out. There's no stopping OpenAI or any major, because that company is huge now at this point. There's no stopping them, but there's always going to be throwing of wrench into their processes, into their operations, to try to slow them down. But the reality is that there's no stopping technology in that direction.
And by way of closing remarks, Ola, this ruffle going on between a husband and a wife.
Frank Edo.
Being caught, the wife being recorded 90 minutes, and then husband too, diverging is the inner emotions to a lady who first made an appearance like somebody that was sympathizing instead of being in empathy, and then everything
Yeah.
becoming a firestorm on the internet.
Yeah.
Let's say about that.
So there's a big story that has been trending for the past several days on for the past several days on the internet with a gentleman called Frank Edoho. This is Frank Edoho on the screen, and what happened?
Be a millionaire in
Yes,
Nigeria, right?
yes,
Right.
it's a popular TV presenter for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So he recorded his wife, you know, recorded his wife, and while the wife was having a conversation with an
Make it
alleged
plain. By
son.
way of sting operation, he dropped a recording device
Yes, he
inside the
was.
wife's car. Like some of us had been, I mean, somebody had done that to some of us before.
Oh, really, really, right. So,
Please go ahead. You need to tell about us.
yes, yes, yes. So he got suspicious, became suspicious of his wife, and then he dropped the recorder in in his wife's car, and he recorded it 90 minutes, more than 90 minutes, more than one recording. But the one that came on the internet was a 90 minutes recording of a conversation between the wife and her side boyfriend, and at the very
A
majority
very
of
popular
the
musician, right?
yes, popular musician Chike, and you know, about 80 minutes of that recording was Chike advising this young lady of how to keep everything cool with the husband at home, and the last 10 minutes part of it was basically her saying, you know, we've been doing stupid things anyway. We should do one last stupidest thing, and they planned to elope and go to some kind of hotel somewhere where they could spend one last day together, and after that they will ex each other, block each other. One of them suggested for life, one of them suggested just for 1 month to let things cool down. And then
Sexcapade. It's called sexcapade.
yes, and then the last that last bit of it was the young man now suggesting like they should go to an Airbnb, not a hotel, because hotels have camera. All of this was on recording, and so I guess apparently they had been separated inside of the living in the same house, taking care of their children for like a year. Eventually, she got to a point where she decided to file for divorce. Now, Frank Edoho himself was featured on a podcast with popular comedian Teju Babyface. And on that podcast,
Taju Babyface lives in America now, right?
he does.
Right.
And
Please go ahead.
in that recording, one of the clips are trending online right now. You could hear him literally saying he's the king of malice because he was defending an old news that came from his first marriage where he'd been accused of beating his
But
ex-wife.
Yola, is it really manly to keep malice with one spouse? Is it what a strong man should do,
So
or a good
sad,
man should do?
so sadly, a lot of Nigerian men and men sympathizers from the other gender are justifying this as, what else is there to do if a woman would not respect you? If a woman will not respect you, what else is there to do? Would you rather beat
Rather
her
than turn it
or
to
keep
malice?
malice? So somehow Nigerian men cannot see anything in between malice and beating. They can't comprehend that
It's
there's.
one of the same thing, right?
It's the same
One,
thing.
one
It's
is emotional, the other one is physical.
no. This is how they asked. They said, "Would you rather domestic violence or malice?" I said, "Malice is domestic violence." When are we? When are Nigerian men going to learn that malice keeping, stonewalling,
That's
silent
right.
treatment are all domestic violent behaviors? And dare I say, you deserve. I'm saying this.
But for some of us, Ola, who do not really know how to keep malice, and we are begging, please talk to me, and let's be cool.
And that's the
And
thing.
that's why I
That's
said
the thing.
usually it's not a man's thing, right?
So it's an argument of it's a debate between integrity and emotional survivor, right? People are arguing cheating, they are arguing for or against cheating, and then people are saying malice is not a big deal because apparently everybody will go through that. And people can see how malice can be more of a leading indicator ahead of cheating. They see more of the moral abomination in cheating. And this is why marriages are ending left and right. This is why people are struggling, because they don't have an understanding of the nuance of these things.
You know why I gave you the floor on this tonight? Lots of people are saying we don't even really see you as. I said, don't expect me to be feisty and ferocious like I used to do during my rookie years as a journalist. This is interactive, and because you are the expert when it comes to relationships,
Human relationships.
I decided
Yeah.
to pull this one on you.
So we call it
so much for.
we call it relationship architecture. And
Thank you.
people it's not just about romance. It's about just understanding human dynamics, psychology of human dynamics. And people wait until something is right in their face before they realize a lot has been happening behind the scenes of the human mind. Even before you start interacting with people, people are carrying trauma around. And the only other extreme that Nigerians tend to go to is spiritual. If it's not spiritual or physical, they don't understand it.
And you don't think the spiritual aspect of, having all this spiritual route all the time is kind of escapist instead of just something more rational and plausible?
Did you say escapist? Yes, it's a easy escape route. It's lazy. It's lazy, if you will, because it's how do I say it? It's just lazy. It's just lazy. It's lazy in the grand scheme of things and with respect to critical thinking.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ola. Concerning your perspectives on this. One other thing I would have loved to have, if you permit me. For either of the genders who find it always difficult to let go when they offend themselves, whether somebody is saying, "Oh, you cheated," or it's about malice or what have you. I always look at them as the people that have falsely sworn before the assemblies of men and God. People who would say, for better, for worse, there's nothing you can do that will not be forgiven. Yet, they never forgive each other and they stretch it too far. Yeah. Isn't that something?
I mean, is the hypocrisy, is the inevitability of hypocrisy when it comes to human beings. And I call it inevitable as in, like, don't try to eliminate it. We're human beings.
Right.
But it needs to be managed, right? So how do you manage hypocrisy when somebody would literally swear up and down with the Holy Bible, and then when it gets down to it,
and sometimes the Holy Quran, or other totems of worship, maybe iron and opele,
they'll swear with their own life, and their children. But when it gets down to it, their emotions get the best of them. But how do I communicate emotions to a person that can't comprehend emotions as a thing? Right? It's a very difficult thing. The only way for most human beings, I'm going to say this loud and clear now, is that they have to hit rock bottom first. And hitting rock bottom for some people is on the other side of life. So, and to Batileti.
Let him who has ears.
Yes.
Hear what the Spirit is telling the church.
Some people will pie there.
And the world.
They rather pie there. And it's not necessarily a matter of their fault. I'm not blaming them. But for those who can hear this, they need to really reflect. And can I hear it when it's difficult? When I'm being called out? Like, can I face the mirror and talk to myself? It's a very difficult thing to do. It's called self-accountability. That's the only type of accountability that exists, by the way, when it comes to human relations. Yeah.
I'll give you the last word.
Don't get me going. Don't get me started.
It's all right.
So what I'll tell you and the audience is that they need to charge you during our last segment, because we just did 10 minutes overtime, to ensure that you ask me one direct question, and I will keep it concise, because
this is to the benefit of all of us. You have
Yeah.
just helped humanity. Thank
All
you.
right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we just talked on a little of Frank Edoho there. Let us know what your thoughts are. Hopefully you are able to walk away with some value today. Hopefully you've been enlightened. We'll be back here sooner than you think. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. Take care and God bless. Peace.